Okay, so we've got something really very exciting to share, and I'm going to be truthful, we have just recorded all of this and then decided that we need to share this with everyone. So I'm going to do a little bit of an intro, and then we're going to tell this onto the front, so you're going to think that this is the beginning, but it's not, at the end. Anyway, so
we're all about honesty, aren't we? We're all
about honesty and transparency. So yeah, this is how things happen. So we've just recorded some sort of amazing wizardry trickery of how you can create graphics for your business really quickly and easily using Google everything, basically using Google Slides, Google Spreadsheets, Google Calendar to, as much as we possibly can, automate the system of creating amazing, beautiful graphics with really great, valuable content without you having to sit there every day opening up various apps, going through the process of creating the content and saving it one bit by bit. You can just fill in a spreadsheet. Once you've set that up and you've got the tech set up, connecting them all, you fill in a spreadsheet and it will automatically put that content into an image for you. You just need to save it as a JPEG, which we're going to figure out how to automate that as well at some point. And then upload it to wherever you're posting, Instagram, Facebook, wherever. So I'm really ridiculously excited about this, and I love it that we've just gone through it. It's so great, and I can't wait to share this with you. So now we're going to go into what we just recorded.
On inside.
Yeah.
That's right. So if I show you what I can do, and then we can like pick it apart and see how we got there using everything, all the little elements and things we've got.
Yeah, because this is the first time I'll have seen this, so I'll probably be like, wow, it's amazing. Yeah. And then also, how did you do it? Where was the magical trickery that made that work?
Yeah, well, that's really good. So we can record that. And then, because I've been playing with this for such a long time, so there's probably things I might skip over. So yeah, just ask me whatever you think, well, that doesn't make, or how did you do that? Or there's a big gap there.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Cool.
Okay, so this is something that I've been basically collecting quotes. So I've got like this master quote spreadsheet, and the great thing with the spreadsheet is that you can have Google spreadsheet on your phone, so every time, like if you just have it handy, you can just keep putting your quotes into here. And then
I love all things Google at the moment. Google Spreadsheets,
Google.
Google Slides, it's
Google
just taking
Mail.
over my world. Yeah,
it is though, and it all just works. I'm a big Google fan.
Google fan.
So then I've set this other spreadsheet up. So this is the spreadsheet that I would put things into in order to create my images using your fantastic templates. Okay. So what I can do then is I can just copy and paste, like in here I can get it all formatted and stuff, and just have a dumping ground, and then when I decide which ones I want to create, I would just put it in the spreadsheet. So one note before I forget is, if you're working from your spreadsheet, the way that the system works is it will notice that you've just done line 30. So if I then deleted everything again and go back from line 1, it's not going to pick up and work. So don't think, well, I didn't want that one. Like, this is why I've got some empty ones here. Like, I've done things and then deleted, because I was demoing and recording. I was like, well, let's get rid of that. And the thing is it won't pick up the lines you've already done. So I just like a little tip there. So if you're wondering why there's lots of lines, but if so whatever I put in here, it's going to create me a set of graphics with that text. So instead of me having to go into another editing, like an image editing software each time I wanted to do it, it's just going to happen on the fly. And again, I can have this spreadsheet on my phone and put it directly into this phone, and when I'm ready on my Slides app, it's already there for me to share. So it's all when you as soon as you type something in here and then kind of tab across, does it literally automatically do it straight away, or do you have like a bit of time? Yeah, there's like a 5-minute time delay ish. Sometimes it's quicker, and in one of the training that I was doing before, like, it does feel like my heart's in my mouth, like, is it going to work? So all today, this morning, I'll be like, oh, I just know it's gonna do. Yeah. But so whatever I put in here, in about 5 minutes time, there's going to be some slides in my slide account, Google Slides, with that text in. And what I've got here, because I'm doing quotes, like, this is my author field and this is my text. So you can have as many of these. So say you're in, I don't know if you've ever done a video with me, but I always refer to dog groomers. If you're a dog grooming business and you want on your things, you want to like pull out the breed of dog, then you could have a column for dog breed or something. So whatever you have on your slides, you have a column for. And what that means is, we'll see later that we can format each of these columns to look different. So you'll see in a minute that my author one is in a different font than this one. You can just have the one. So if it's just like you and you're pulling things out of your blog post, you can just have the one. You can basically go through your blog post, keep highlighting, copying different lines within your blog post and just copying them out here. And then, yeah.
Yeah, and you could just have, so the B column might, if you wanted to be, kind of credit yourself as the author of that. And then with the C column B, if you wanted a call to action, or if you wanted to use a hashtag or something like that. So they're the different kind of styling elements in the design.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've obviously put in Hello D. So if I then go and refresh it, you can see that this is my Workout Wednesday that I did earlier. So there might be a delay. It might be there now. Carry on chatting. Oh, here we go. See, here you are. So you're in a slide now. So if I open that up now. So remember, we can do this on our phones, which is what I love.
Love that.
Whenever you get an idea, I want to do an image with this random quote I've just seen, and then you can come into your slide account as and when you want to do it. Okay. So here's my main text. So if we go back to the spreadsheet, this is my main one, and this is my author. So I didn't have anything in author here, so nothing's come through, and it's just got my little placeholder here. Or I can just delete that, and it might be that because it's short, I can then change my fonts. And this is what you'll probably show us later, is how you can use what's there and just have a little tweak. And it might be, if I put the author in here as Victoria, that might be just ready to go, and then in which case I can just save it. But you can see here, and this is why I was excited, doubly excited this morning, because up until this point I'd only been using one slide per slides, one presentation. So I copy and pasted all your brilliant templates you did me all into, and then what that does is it's actually put it into each and every one of the slides. So what we can do is I could go through and save all of these as images and have the same quote in all different formats, or I can go, actually,
it worked better in this one, so I use this one today because actually I used that style already.
Exactly. And then we can just delete that, so back button, and now I've created your own little graphic. Yay! I'll also warn you that my imagination on text to use is really poor, hence Hello D and dog names.
But the two obviously not related.
No, not like last time we were chatting and I came up with some middle names for myself, which
they were great. They were the best middle names.
So that's sort of how. So if I want to save it, I just go File, Download as a JPEG or a PNG. And the other thing that I really love about this is it's saved. Can you see that popping up, my download file? So it's actually saved as the text Hello D. Brilliant. So if you were just using it in a presentation, so if I was just updating this copy of Master Insta, again, very brilliant name, every time I saved one of these slides, if I went down inside that and I decided to edit that, I would download it as a JPEG.
And it saves it just with the copy of Master, won't it?
You'd have to rename it. So this way, if we bulk it, we can create 20 on the fly, and then we can literally bulk upload it. And if I show you here, I'm probably skipping ahead, but if I drag these down, this little formula that I've created, and I've got to pull that one down, so that's the shorter name. So you can see that a link, when I've uploaded to my Amazon account, and I can do 1,000 at a time once I've created them, I automatically know what the URL to that image is going to be. So I'm not going to have to go and look at each image and then get the URL and put it in. I know that once I've uploaded all of the things that I've just downloaded, that is the URL to that image. So I can then, which I'll show you later, import that into Google Calendar and schedule them all just like that. I don't even have to faff around with the images.
So you don't have to do anything. You just got to open up the slide. You can make, which is nice because you can make any finer tweaks just in case the layout isn't quite exactly how you want it. But you don't have to do that if you are short on time. You can just save them as JPEGs in a file, bulk upload it to your Amazon account, and then you're ready to go.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be Amazon. It can be your WordPress site. So originally I was doing my media file, but obviously if you're super popular, it's going to drain your you don't use all of your so you're better off using Amazon or somewhere else, Dropbox or something like that, I suppose. And I've done a lot. So just a note on that, I've done a lot of research and trial and error, because that's how I roll. And you've got to be able to save your images in a particular way. So Dropbox doesn't work because it doesn't actually give you, it's very difficult to get the link to that direct link, and it sort of gives you all the random strings. Whereas I've spent a whole evening Googling image storage, and this is one of the only
exciting life.
Oh my God, I know you're jealous. But you can see then, like Amazon is one of the only places that you can create so I've created my own folder, create more .space, and then I know that it's consistently the same path to the image, whereas a lot of other image hosters will, like I say, they'll make it safe by scrambling all the things, so you couldn't guess what it's going to be. You have to go in each image.
You have to go and check. Okay.
But with your media if you wanted to start and you didn't want an Amazon account, because it is they don't make it easy, I don't think, Amazon storage, that you can do it on your website in a similar type of way, because again, that's quite standard URL. Does that make sense?
It does. I'm very excited. I really like this. It's going to make it so much easier to actually just constantly put images out there, because I know we were talking about this already, but I do think it's so important to be able to put constant images out here, and this just makes things so much easier. So much easier.
I think so. And I think for me, I think life is so busy and it's also noisy that when you have to go through so many steps to do something, like think of it, copy and paste it, then open up the image thing, and it all just becomes too much, so you don't do it. Whereas if all you have to do is
thinking about it takes long enough time, so once you've done that, you just need everything after the thinking to be quick.
Hopefully one day there'll be some tech that just goes straight through our brain, and we don't have to do anything. And
I know that if there is, you'll be the first one to be testing it and exploring it.
I'll be drinking Prosecco going, look at me, I'm just creating it without having to do anything. That's my goal. What probably would be a good next step is for you to maybe look at these, show like how you've got created these templates from the basic ones, and then in it, like you say, because that's the automatic one, but in here, like if I say wanted to make that bigger, like what you'd be looking at maybe of how to
do that. And did you want to just say how it's because you've got the text there labeled in a particular way, and I assume that that's from Google Slides then pulls into the spreadsheets, that's how they talk. Did you want to just go over that first, or shall I go into that? Because when we're looking at your master slide, obviously you've got the text is a particular format, so I assume that that's how the slide and the spreadsheet talk to each other.
Yes, that's it. So that's it. So at the top here are the titles of my my columns. So if it was a dog breed, I could call it dog breed. The only thing is if you want to do the whole batching into the calendar and uploading it on bulk, then you have to have the subject and the description, because that's the way, again, another evening, probably 2 of my life testing, but it has to be in a particular thing. So yeah, you need those. But so that's why I've had to call those then, and it might not make much sense. But for the actual image creation, we could call this anything. So it could be, like I've done author, it could be dog breed, it could be whatever it is you want to do. And then what you do is whatever the column name is what goes in the double curly brackets. So again, if I added another column, I could do anything, and as long as it's exactly.
So if we added a column that was call to action.
Yes.
Right, call to action, and then down here in I'm pointing at the screen, which nobody can see that I'm doing, but underneath
I can see
that I'm pointing. But you can, so you just put the double curly brackets again and call to action, or whatever you've actually labeled that column as. Choose the styling and the formatting for that text, and then it will pull whatever you put in that column into the design.
Exactly. Yeah.
Flipping amazing. It's literally magic.
Honestly, dear, I could bounce off the walls. I don't quite know what's wrong with me that I could spend an evening doing this stuff, and then I'm like more excited than I've been out dancing probably. I'm like, I think it says more about me. But anyway, so if I stop sharing, then do you want to take over and just look at the design aspect?
Yeah, sure. Do we need to switch this to screen share with Zoom, or should I just record from where I am?
I think you can if you screen share from where you are. Can you on the Zoom window?
On Zoom, yeah. Let me figure that out. At the moment, you are delightfully massive on my computer screen.
Poor thing. Make sure
Make sure you're covered up, you're not completely naked.
Yeah.
Where do I go for
So on the Zoom screen, there's a little black bar at the bottom where you can mute yourself and stop video.
There we go, share screen. I think it's because it was full screen, I couldn't see.
Yeah, taken over the entire computer.
Taken over it. Share screen. Wonderful.
Should have put,
put
better makeup on if I was going to be supersized on your screen.
And I've got the biggest Mac screen possible, so
oh my God. Don't look.
Right, so this is my Google Slides template. So these are the templates that you've just been using. So these are the ones that I've created for you in your brand style. So they're all, I sent these over and they're all just blank with plenty of space to be able to add as much copy as you want. These came from, let me find the file, my Instagram templates. So this was the original template that I've taken it from. You can see that it looks quite different. So these are the templates that I've created, which are part of one of my offerings. You can see that some of them are already pretty much set up to be able to fill with text in this way. I mean, some of them are a little bit more kind of tricky in how it's set up, but I assume that actually if we were to just change this text to subject, then the subject would be formatted in this exact style, wouldn't it? And it would only go to the length of the text, so it's only going to fill this space. So you've got actually quite a lot of design control over how you kind of create these graphics using that the template system and the spreadsheet.
Yes.
Cool. Okay.
The only thing is obviously if you put a chapter of War and Peace in there, it's going to spill over, and it's on my how to work it out list of how you can sort of keep it within that box and make the text smaller, but apparently it's not possible yet. But
so it's actually then maybe, but what you do is create again. So if we were doing it in this style, so take this one using Google Slides just to copy and duplicate it. If you were going to have a piece that was going to be a lot more text, you could create another folder which had really small text on it, although that's far too small a text because you've got to remember that actually these are going on social media and people still need to be able to read it. So if you were going to have a much bigger piece of content that you wanted to put in, you just actually create another slide in this template, and now when you use the spreadsheet formula and you actually put in one of the subjects that's actually got a lot of text in, it will be formatted into this one, which won't make much sense because you won't get all of the information in, but it will also go into this one, and therefore you just save this one as a JPEG and you ignore the other ones.
Exactly, love it.
And then you're not really creating much more, because you can have as many slides in this template as you need, and there's just all there for you to just be able to pick and choose from. There's no extra work. It's not like you have to go in and relay content into each one and decide how it's going to best fit, because it might actually pop into here and you think actually it fits in here a lot better. So a quick kind of walkthrough of how I use these templates. As you see, they're easy to just copy and paste each one, but this, not everybody wants a picture of me on their marketing design. I know you would prefer to have my picture on there. But if it's your brand, obviously you need to edit these templates to have your brand style in there. Now, if you've worked with a fabulous brand designer, then you should have a brand guidelines like this. This is one I really created quickly and simply for you for the create more space brand styling. So you know the kind of graphic images and styles that you want to use, you know your colors and you know your fonts. So to make these templates your own, let's just choose this one down the bottom. I'm going to duplicate it again. Clicked on the wrong bit. We're going to first of all change the font. So your font is Equestral and Give Your Glory. So all you need to do is just simply, as you would a text editor, go in here and change the fonts. And once you've done that, you've then got that styling already in your template. So you can just go and change the colors. See, grey's not going to fit on a grey background, but you can get the point. You can go through and you can choose the colors and the styles to make it fit your brand styling. Luckily, the best thing with Google Slides is that it saves content. As soon as you copy and paste over, you can use the color from here. It's already popped it into your custom folder. So you don't have to worry about going and thinking, okay, so this is the color reference I need to do, I need to add that in. So if you just have one of these already created up in Google Slides, then you can just copy and paste it over, delete that off your slide, and you've got the color ready and waiting in your custom.
I love that.
Just makes it quicker, and we like everything that makes things quicker.
I love it.
Quick.
Oh, look at that.
So the background here is a green color. So to change the background, rather than adding in lots of different layers, you can just click on the background and you can add an image, or you can change the color. So we'll make it the pink color. Now I do have a picture of you that we can use. So let's just copy this one over and replace the picture of me with the picture of you. Go arrange and send to back. And then image options, add a little bit of transparency, and then that allows that pink color from the background to come through.
Oh.
Now, one thing I do like about Google Slides, actually, from a design perspective, there's quite a few things that you can do with images to make them fit. So you can go in and you can do the kind of, you can use these recolor options. So you can change the style of the image in the background. If I just move that out, you can change it so it's got that more of the black and white color to it. So you can go through and play with all of these, or no recolor, and use the brightness or the contrast. You can play around with it to really get a good feel for the image. So that might fit your brand styling. It may be that actually that type of image works for you, but for your brand, we're just going to keep it the normal, your regular style. So put these back. You can just click reset adjustments and then change the transparency. So that's one thing I just do love about Google Slides, actually, from a design perspective, is there's so much you can do with it. It's very similar. I was always an InDesign girl. InDesign was always my thing. I've never been a Photoshop fan, but there's so much you can do with Google Slides, which is similar to InDesign, especially for creating digital images. Obviously, creating print images, you're stuck because you can't do bleed and crop and stuff. But for creating graphics like this really quickly and easily, it's just the best tool. So we're already getting something quite similar to that could be used for your branding, just by tweaking a couple of little things, just changing the fonts and colors and the imagery. Is already starting to look like you. But this is your main kind of call to your brand, which is the paint splash type of style. So I'm going to quickly edit this little graphic. Now this graphic is one that I created for you and saved as a PNG, so you can always upload PNG files into your Google Slide, which just allows there to be that transparency around the edge. Now we could distort the image by playing with the size of it and make it fit, or because I want to retain this kind of neat edge around there, I'm just going to simply copy and paste it a few times.
Look at that.
And just line it up so it looks about right, and then double click and copy and paste those as well. And rather than stretching and distorting your image, you can then quite easily create that background. Now it's a little bit tricky to select all of these every time you want to be able to move them, so select them once and then go and group them. So arrange and group, and then that creates a group. So every time you want to click on it, you don't have to select all of the different files. So now we can copy this one and select your image and send those to the back. And there we are.
Amazing.
Starting to look. Now again, you can go in and play with the transparency if you want to, but to make things easy to read, it's nice to have a solid white background. Sometimes if you play too much with transparencies, it just means that once this is viewed smaller, so you think most people are really going to be viewing this quite small on their phones or on Instagram or on Facebook, you want your text and your imagery to stand out, be able to be identified as being your brand style, but still be able to read the message that you've got. So let's just peek and put your little face down in the corner there so we can still see it's you. But it's got that style and that feel to the image. There you go. That was my real quick
Love it.
how to change this template into something that instantly feels more like your brand.
It's just and that's taken you, and the thing is that's taken you no time at all, but now that's something, when you put in the curly brackets and, you know, create that template, it's just there continuously. I love it. And one of the things I was playing, because I'm quite new to it on my phone, is that if you have these then on your phone, you can easily upload images off your phone onto the slide as well, which I really
I love that. I do love, I actually had a little play with the app on my phone and decided that my logo, I wanted to make some tweaks to my brand logo, and I just uploaded it into Google Slides and used my phone to create my logo.
Wow.
So I just thought, why not create a logo on your phone whilst trying to get your little boy to sleep?
And that's it, isn't it? And I think that's why I like the fact that you've got the apps on all your iPads and phones, because sometimes you haven't got your iPad. Instead of like just scrolling through Facebook and wasting that time if you're in a queue or something, you can literally be creating like graphics like this, and it's just such a better use of your time. You're actually producing something.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I love it. And it's so different.
I've copied that into your template, but obviously that's not going to be the one that updated with you, I think. Is this the one that's in your file? Will that magically appear?
No, but I can. So in a minute, if I go back, I'll show how I can then, as you create new ones, I can copy and paste it into
it. Because I think this is in the one that was in your folder. So cool. You should be able to see that in your original Insta template blank in the Create More Space file. So that's the other brilliant thing with Google Slides, is I've now created this for you. I've uploaded it from my original template that's on my system into the template that we share together, and this will now have magically appeared in your file on your computer, and you can use it straight away without having to email back and forth between people as well to get kind of work done. And I know that's always a frustration. Well, I imagine that's definitely the frustration for business owners working with designers, is that delay in time of things be able to create. So if you just set up some of these templates yourself and you've got this now to work with, you can change the images, you can change the colors, you can change the text, and it's so quick and easy for you to do. Shall we switch back to your computer?
Let's do it. I was just going to see if it had come onto my phone, but that would excite me.
It should be. I should be able to see it on mine. Right, rather annoyingly, my computer screen is just switched off.
I've just got to show you. So can you see that? There it is on my phone.
Hang on. My computer screen has gone to sleep, so bear with me whilst I just log back in.
It had to let us down at some point, Dee, to be honest. I'm surprised we got this far.
And blame it on the heat and melting. Okay, now I'm back. I can see.
I just showed the I just showed on my phone. And then I edit it.
Edit it. Oh, I love it. Genius. So good. So good.
Right, okay, so if I then share back on here.
So we should say, are you going to create the new one that I just created for you, pop it into this and go through the process again?
Yeah, so because once you set up all the tech in the background, so obviously there is some setup here, it doesn't just happen, but it's not rocket science, and it doesn't take that long. But once you've got it set up, you want to be using those original files all the time. So my text image auto spreadsheet is going to be like bookmarked, and this one, and these are the two that I want to keep updated. So you can see.
Well, I do love as well with this, the Google Slides, you go into here, and the most recent thing that's ever, it's there at the top, so you don't have to go around searching.
No, so Dee's obviously updated it just now, 3 minutes ago or 2 minutes ago, so it's at the top. So I'm going to click on it. Wait for Somerset Broadband to.
Yeah, this is always a bit. We both live village life broadband. Wait for the dial-up to happen in the background.
So, because I love my new workshop, Dee, but I can't work from there because it's even worse than here. So I'm a bit frustrated. But right, so if I copy that, here it is. Look, Dee hasn't had to email me. She hasn't had to do anything. It's just there, and I can go back and basically, if I just click and paste, it should then come in the bottom. Here we go. So it's just inserted it in there. So then what I'll do is I'll just put this. Actually, what I can do is from here, if I select those, so if you press the up arrow, you can double select. And like Dee said, I could then make that into a group if I wanted to. So then if I get rid of this, pressing the back arrow and paste that in. So text-wise, or let me actually, if I keep that because it looks different, the text you've done, and I like that. So I'll get rid of the subject. And then I'm going to put, so all I need to do there is do my curly brackets. Make sure you spell everything right, which is probably my biggest challenge in life.
As always, check that if it's not working.
Yeah. And then move that up a little bit there.
You could always make the author tag could go in the button that we've got at the bottom there instead.
Let's do that.
It's me peering over your shoulders, telling me.
Yeah, no, that's it. You see, I'm a techie, I'm not a designer. So that's why we just create this magic.
Which is why it's good to have these templates there, because if you just follow the format that was in the existing template, you don't have to worry about layout and position and design, because somebody that knows what they're doing with all of that has done that thinking for you. Exactly. You just have this set up now, and that's it. You don't have to think about how you create images again. No,
that's it. So here you can also, like, this is in the middle of the text. So, you know, what we'll do is I'll go in and do some more and we'll see it come through, and it might be that it comes off a little bit center, and I might just want to change the template a little bit. But once you get confident of where it's all going to come, then it's just a matter of doing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go, so I did these little short ones, so I'm going to control copy in my big database of ones, quotes things. I'm just going to copy these lines and I'm going to paste them under my Hello D, because that's the last one we did. Okay, so I haven't even had to do, so I'm just going to bring those down as well. Now, just to note, because this is pulling in the image, basically the image is created with the whole quote that you've got, so it's going to create an image with that long name, which actually for SEO is probably a really good thing. But if it's a really long quote, like some of my, you know, like here, then it's going to be a little bit excessive. So what I did here is I just created another little column. So if I decided that I wanted to make it a shorter, so I just want to do like straight roads, for instance, then I can just get rid of that. I could like type it in there and it'll pull that in instead of the long one. Does that make sense? So at the moment I'm just copying what's there. And the other thing is it doesn't really like it when you have quotes in it. It's sort of because it auto creates the image, you can't really have image names with quotes in.
No, so you want to, then that's out on the design, there's a little quote mark at the top, so you keep that.
Yeah, brilliant.
So use that one for quotes.
Honestly, it's just so what I'm going to do, and this is the frustrating thing, because it does take about 5 minutes to come through, because the software and all the bits that you've set up, it goes through. It's not checking it like every second, it's like every 5 minutes it's going to come through. So so in a minute we'll see them all come through. Any questions?
So what is the magic behind all of it? How is it kind of set up to work? Can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek at how you've done that?
It uses Zapier. I know you use If This Then That. Do you use Zapier as well, or just If This?
I haven't used Zapier now.
Okay.
I've not used it.
So you've got the two programs. You've got If This Then That, which is IFTT. How many T's? Three T's?
TT.
3 T's.
Yeah.
Or Zapier. And I've used both, and the reason I would use both is each one connects with a slightly different program in a slightly different way. So you can see if this works with If This and That, because the theory is exactly the same. We're basically connecting spreadsheet with slides. So and as long as If This Then That works with both, then it should be okay. So if I show you, this is my Zap. So they call it a Zap. So if I show you just roughly, I won't it'll take too long probably to show you exactly how it's set up, but we can record that in depth later. But just so you see, so it obviously. I'm not sure I understand. Sorry, I pressed. So in Google Sheets, you're basically connected with Google Sheets. That's the first thing. So what we're doing is we're telling Zapier to go and check Google Sheets. It connects with your account, and then you edit the options. So it's checking my text to image auto here, spreadsheet, and it's checking the Insta worksheet, which is here. So whatever, and what you do is when you set it up, and I would say, like, we'll have full training on step by step, like how to do it, but it would take too long. you would it just takes you through a little wizard. So it's like, which spreadsheet do you want? And when you've connected your Google account with Zapier, it will bring up all of the spreadsheets in your account. Then you just select the one that you're using. So have it all set up beforehand. So you'd need to set up your spreadsheet before, and you would want to set up your master slides file as well. And then it would just pull it in. So, and then it allows you to test it just to check that it's connecting okay, and it will come through as a success. So once it's connected to Google Sheets, what we want it to be able to do is to create presentations from it in Google Slides. So again, you've selected the program, Google Slides. What you want it to do is create a presentation from the templates, a fresh presentation. You want to, it connects to your Slides account again. So you would just connect to account, takes you through a little wizard. And then in the template, what it's doing is it's pulling the subject from the spreadsheet, which is the title of here. Yeah. And it's all in a wizard format. So it'll give you a selection of what to choose from. So if I press down here, you'll see it's loading. It's got like the author, description, start date, and things like that. So you just select the one. Yeah. Is it shared? Do you want it to be visible? No. Which template do you want to base it on? So again, this is my copy of Master Insta Auto. My naming convention is just got on. But here it is. And again, it would just, if I did this, it would allow me to, or bring up all of the ones in my, well, here, look, it's already created. Straight rows. Here's some of the ones it's just created, which we'll see in a minute. And then my subject and the author, like these are the things. So once it's pulled in that spreadsheet, that template, it's then looked at my curly brackets to see what fields are on it. So like you said, if you had call to action as a column, and then you put on your slide 2 curly brackets, call to action, close curly brackets, this would come up here as well, and you would select which field in the spreadsheet to select.
So you put all of those fields in here, but for example, if on your copy master of Insta, if on the design slides, you had some of the templates had the subject and an author, some of the templates had the subject in curly brackets and call to action, it would only pull in the bits that are relevant to that slide, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it will. So whatever, basically, I think it will probably go from the first one. So it's coming from whatever the first, whatever it's pulling in the first one. I think I've added these on after, so I wouldn't make it too complicated. It might be that I'd create 2 different zaps. So if you've got 2 very different sets of images, like one's like tips and one's a quote, then I might be inclined, and you've got different headings, but it doesn't really matter about the headings. So it could be like you could put anything in that subject. It could be a tip.
So it could be, you could actually just rather call your columns kind of main copy, sub copy. Yeah. And so your main copy could be the text, and the sub copy would be the author. And then if you didn't have if it wasn't a testimonial or a quote, and you just wanted it to be a headline and a call to action, then your subject and your kind of subheader, your header and your subheader would be the header and the call to action. You just fill what you fit. So you just kind of use the minimum number of columns in the slide and put in what you want on there. Okay, yes, that makes more sense.
I would do, so then and then you test it again. It will create one there and then. So if we then tested this step, test successful, then probably in a minute we'll see a test one in there as well. So it just it does a little dummy run, and that's it, and actually that it doesn't take a lot of time. So it's about setting up your spreadsheet, setting up your templates, obviously using these, and then you just connect it together in Zapier. So it really probably won't take you more than an hour or so, a couple of hours tops, and it saves you so much time.
So once you've set this up once, then that's it. All you're really doing after you've set up your design templates and your Zapier is putting the content into a spreadsheet, and then opening up the slides and saving them as a image, which I know you're working your way on how you can automatically get all that working as well. And
that is my next step.
That's your next step of how to get the images to automatically then post to social media. I
know, it's not that I'm lazy, Dee.
I know, I don't know why you haven't figured that out yet.
It's the very fact that I'm trying to figure it out. Like it's obviously like, oh, I can't do that myself. I must get tech to do it.
Tech must do it. Yeah. But how does so once you've then saved the images yourself and you've uploaded them into Amazon, you've then got some magic trickery that works with your calendar, haven't you, for auto scheduling? How does that work?
So it's the same sort of thing. So again, it's a Zap. So if I go in here, and it just collects. So if we put here, so here. So if I click on here, what you'd need to do is import your spreadsheet. So once you've done this and you've set it all down, you've got all of your images in here, you would download it as a CSV file and you would import it into your Google Calendar. Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so if I show you my calendar, you might have to, don't know that I've got any embarrassing appointments coming up. So you can see, so I do this, I'm using this in one of my groups. So I've got the different colours, the different places. So in my groups, I'm doing a content challenge at the moment, encouraging everybody. So obviously I can't, as a mum, I don't know that at 7 o'clock every day I'm going to be there by my computer posting. And I don't have to be there at 7 o'clock every day. So I send them a little message at 7 o'clock just saying, this is the challenge for today. So I know that if I put something in here, on that particular calendar, it will automatically post into my group and I can attach an image to it. So instead of using Hootsuite and things, I prefer this because I can literally see at a glance. And if it's a bit confusing, it's because I've got all these different colors. So I can take those off, I can take that off, and then this is everything that would go in. So if I wanted to see what's going on to my page, I've got these, each one is a little appointment, and at 6 o'clock tomorrow, or around then by a few minutes, it will go onto my page with this text and this image. So you can see, if I put that in, that's the image. And this is what I'm saying, I've tested so many different things and it has to be in a certain way for it to work. Obviously that's not one of these designs I was playing. I will be updating them all to look better. So where was I? So yeah, so
that's you upload, and you can do that via your spreadsheet from the CSV file from the spreadsheet, which will have all of the kind of the subjects and titles you can upload into your Google Calendar, and then how does that then know what times to associate them to?
Because in here, I've got start date, end date, and things. Okay. So I'll just fill that in with the dates. And again, you can, if you wanted to be a 10 o'clock, every day at 10 o'clock, then you can just do the drag and drop and fill it in. Yeah, so you can do it. So if we then imported those, down here, I would just have to fill in the dates before I import it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then again using Zapier, it's just exactly the same principle. And again, if this then that might do it as well. I can't remember what I was doing, but there was something in this, if this and that just was a little bit fiddly or didn't quite work. So if you're quite, you can have both anyway, you can have both accounts. So and then so if I do calendar, did I already here? So just to see, and then all it's doing is it's pulling through when an event starts. So again, it's connected to my calendar. This is the calendar. When do you want it to go? So 1 minute before. So 1 minute before, it could be an hour, whatever. You can put a filter on it. You can make it too technical, and obviously, being me, I push the limit where I can, and it can get a little bit complicated, and then things start falling off the edge a little bit because it's a bit too complicated for you to stay on top of it. So I would try and keep it really simple. Yeah, because I was trying to do it all on the same calendar and having all these little hashtags in, and different hashtags would pull to different calendars just because I've got nothing else to do. So
that first step tells Zapier to look at your calendar for this information, and then the next step is the fun bit where it then tells you to post it to your Facebook page. That's
it. And then it goes, got really watery eyes. I'm playing with my eyes because I think I've got something in them. So I'm not crying through the sheer joy of it. Maybe a little bit. So it's posting to my page. So you'd need a separate Zap for each page or group, which isn't a problem. So each one would have a different calendar, and then it's pulling in the photo and the description, and then it just posts to it. So it's magic. So you can just import it. And if we go into, God, my eye's really stinging, sorry.
Oh.
But you can see, this was the last one. And since it's created these ones here. So if I click on Imagine a New Story for Life and Living It, it's pulled it into all these. And then wait for the Somerset broadband to load. Hopefully again one.
So you can then go flick through all of these and decide which one it's going to fit, looks best in.
That's it.
Save it as a
Oh, stop it. Right, let me go back. God, my eyes.
Okay, yeah. So as you say, you just need a little bit of tweaking when you open it to kind of move those onto a couple of different lines so that it all fits.
So if anyone...
actually, if you just change the text box style, and then it will always fit in that space.
Yeah. Well, so you might know this, but I've researched it and I can't find the answer. But in Google Slides, it says you can't, because lots of people have tried to do this, not this, but tried to create like a fixed width text box so it auto fits. So that's one of the things I need to try and figure out, is how you can create an auto fix. I think in Keynote or Microsoft version.
Yeah, so it reset sizes the text. The only thing, again, you're still going to want to go in and check, because as you say, if you had a really long bit of text and you put it in there and it resizes it down to kind of 6 point or 8 point, and that may be too small for it to be easily readable for people. So it does, it's not completely hands off, but this is just definitely a lot quicker than having to go in and type it out and create a new one. It's all in there ready to go.
Exactly. And it is, and as you get going, so this one, like the text is starting up high because I'd only put a little one in here and it's gone above, so I can then, in my master copy of the template, I can just tweak things and go, okay, well, this is happening, so I just need to drag my box down. So if I then went back to the copy one, I could go down there, and you can see it's just a little box, and just make it a little bit bigger,
and then move the author one down so that they will always be in the same place. So brilliant.
And then obviously here you can have it like at the top and things like that. So there's lots that you can do, and like you, it's just so flexible, isn't it? And it's so easy.
It is, I love
and then
sides.
Once I'm happy to say I wanted that one again, I could make the text a little bit bigger, so you can just, it's all there. But if you're in a rush, it's absolutely fine as it is, but it might be that you want to just try.
And that fits the space much better. So you just, there we go. You've tweaked it a little bit. It's only taken you an extra couple of seconds before you hit save. And it just makes the image look much better.
And then all I do is download as JPEG. And then I've got it there. Imagine a new story for your life and start living it .jpeg, and then that is that.
That's the one, and you upload that to your Amazon account, and then it's ready for the next stage for you to upload it into your Google to send it out. Or if you're not using Google, it's just there in your Amazon account. You can then use it from there, get it on your mobile app and open it up, and screenshot it from your phone and put it onto Instagram, or save it as a JPEG from there and put it into Facebook.
Yeah, because if I bring up slides on my phone, then again, and if I go to my,
because that's one thing I do usually a lot, rather than actually go and save as JPEG, so I just take screenshots of everything because it's quicker. But then you do have to rename it, so that doesn't help with the next step in your process.
So I don't know if you can see that. If I stop sharing, maybe. So there it is on my phone. Like Dee said, you could take a screenshot of that, or even download it, I imagine, and work on your phone. Can you download on here? But I guess you can.
Yes, you could save it from there and download it and save it to your image gallery. Or sometimes it's just easier to just take a quick screenshot and then open it up and crop it so that you get the top and the bottom off from Google Slides, and there it saved it as an image to your phone, and then you can upload it straight into Instagram.
I love it. Because I think, because when I first did this, I just decided I was going to do all white. I was going to keep it all very white because obviously I'm not a designer. And then just because I wanted to check the tech and
Test
stuff.
it was
And
working,
then,
yeah.
but when we put your images and your templates over the top like that, so that on my phone, I like, you can't get more professional than
That
that.
looks, yeah, it looks amazing, doesn't it? That it looks really good. And it's taken us, well, we've got like a while going through all of the tech, but really to create it only took me a few minutes to create the design template, and now you've got that to create as many images from as you need.
Yeah. And like, so because one, obviously they're quotes, but like you've mentioned before, like if you do a blog post, you just copy a few sentences out, and then you've got some really beautiful things to then promote your blog post, rather than just like, here's my blog post. How easy is that?
That's what I've been using it for at the moment. It was really, so pulling out quotes and snippets from the blog, and then creating the images from it. And then I've been using later to post to Instagram, and putting in snippets from the blog with a link to the blog in the text field for Instagram, uploading the image in there and having them, because I like the drag and drop layout for scheduling using later to Instagram. And then from using the IFTTT, it automatically reposts from Instagram to Facebook, because you can't automatically post to Instagram at the moment, because Instagram doesn't let you do that.
Which I can see why.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it. And it could be that you have some of it, if some of it isn't in if this and that, then it could be that you set this bit up in Zapier, but if this and that then takes, because it's all talking, so it's whatever. And it could be, because you can even set it up, if you add an image to your Dropbox folder, it then gets added to some, you know, I've even had in the past, I mean, the crazy things I've done, if I've uploaded something onto a Trello board, it posts it to Facebook. If I've saved an image into a Dropbox account, it automatically posts it on Facebook. Like, there is no...
Which is why I'm definitely going to use the Google version now, because if I know that you've tested every possible option. So if you're now just using Google Calendar for it, then that's definitely the way to go. Which I reckon that's going to be my next sneaky suggestion, is we should, because I haven't got Zapier set up or a Google Calendar set up, so maybe we could record step by step using my system and create me a new Zapier account, because I haven't got one, and set it up completely from scratch.
Let's do that. Yeah, because I've recorded me doing what I've done today and recorded that, but to do it with a fresh, completely blank canvas, because a lot of people, hopefully I assume, will be coming at it completely from new, so it'd be good to have a new account, and that way I get mine all set up. Yeah, why not? Definitely. Well, I've got some beautiful images, so I think that's only fair.
Only fair, yeah.
No, definitely. Okay, let's do that. So if we get a date in, and we'll record that then. Brilliant.
Yay. Well, so excited. Do you think we've covered everything that we need to remember how to do all of this ourselves?
I think so, because how long? It's been about an hour, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think so. I think it shows what's possible, and
I'm really excited with it. I think everybody needs to see this. I really think everyone needs to see it, because it's going to save people so much time. And even if it might actually create more tasks for some people to do, because they haven't been doing it in the first place. But it'll mean that actually creating beautiful graphics isn't something that you have to spend lots of time or money on, and you don't have to kind of let a designer kind of rule your time frame of when you are posting, because you're waiting for them to create graphics to come back to you, whether that's internal designer or external designer. I know we can be a pesky typist, because we like to fiddle around with everything and make things look perfect. So if you've got these templates created ready for you to use, then you're in control of creating your own graphics to put out there for your business, which is really the best way to do it.
It is. And I know a lot of ladies I work with, they love Canva, and I do like Canva, but it can basically suck your entire evening out. And if you know that you've got templates that have been created by a professional designer that are in your brand colors, that because I mean, we've discussed this before, and I think it's like, consistency is not my strong point. And I think when you're a creative, I think consistency, because you're too busy up going, woohoo, look at this, like we are.
You're like, oh, something new to do.
And it's like, it's honouring that, isn't it? Like, there's no point me fighting and trying to make myself turn up at 7 o'clock every day, because I will do for a bit, but then it will just, whereas this allows me to do the social media thing but on my terms, basically.
Yes, definitely. And it doesn't mean that you won't be posting off the cuff stuff, because it just means that you've got these basic things that are there regularly, so that they're going out consistently and putting your brand and your message and your voice out there, so people can connect with you. And then you don't have to worry about, oh no, I've got to put something out there today, because there's already something out there. And you can be more creative and free in the content that you create off the cuff, and put that out as and when you need to.
100%.
rather than feeling a slave to your computer. Because on a day like today, we all want to be sat outside in a paddling pool rather than sitting on a computer screen.
If you put your laptop or your iMac out by the paddling pool, that's not going to work. But you can be on your phone in the garden creating images, can't you?
Why don't laptop screens work in the sun? I tried to be sat outside with my laptop the other day, but it started whirring uncontrollably in the heat. I was like, oh, it's going to die.
And I was a bit like that yesterday. I was like, I really want to sit out in the sun, but I'm really inspired. I want to do some stuff. And I was like, no, I'm working fine. In the end, you go, no.
It's not going to work. Yeah. Go sit inside and draw the curtains and close all the sun away so that you can look at your computer screen. Oh.
It's just the glamorous life we live.
It is, yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, I think that I think that covers everything. So, I mean, you're the one, because obviously this is the first time I've seen it. So have you left with any questions?
Yeah, I think I've asked enough questions along the way to hopefully cover everything. I mean, there is a lot, obviously, in the tech setup behind in the background, which is, you're right, we can't really go into that now because I think that would blow my mind too much for this this stage. Yeah. Just knowing that it's possible, and these are the systems that we're using. So we're using the spreadsheets, we're using slides, and we're using Google Calendar. Basically, big up to Google. We love everything Google. It's working, and Zapier kind of just connects everything together. And if you go into Zapier and I assume if you set up an account in there and you want it to do things a bit like IFTTT, it kind of shows you the process to go through. So if you want to, you know that you need to be able to get your spreadsheet to talk to slides. Okay, so I want to do that, and that's how you do it. And it can take you step by step through that if you want to figure it out yourself. If not, we should definitely record exactly how to do it.
When we stop record, we'll get a date in the diary.
And then do that. Perfect.
Okay.
Yay. Okay. Excited. Can't wait to see all your great images out there now.
Yeah.